It feels counterintuitive, but close the window.
Because it'll do like the echoing.
Yes.
There we go. We're good. We're live.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just pull up the agenda. Okay, here we go. So welcome to the Communications Committee for March 2025. I'm Hunter Reese, the Communication Director for UNNC. We could, I guess, quickly go around and do introductions.
I'm Teresa Masonette. I'm on the board. I represent the West Adams Avenues.
I am Laura Myers. I'm also on the UNNC board, and I am a at-large representative.
Great.
I live in Angeles Vista.
Thank you both for coming to my meeting. I guess we'll just move right on to general public comments. I know that we did want to talk about something that's not on the agenda, being the upcoming Ciclavia in May.
Oh, no, I don't know anything about it. That's great.
We didn't know anything about it till an hour and a half ago, Teresa.
It's going to be starting on Pico Union or ending on Pico Normandy or beginning on Pico Normandy, it seems. So it'll be the Pico Union Ciclavia. Laura just asked if we should have a booth. It'll be May. I don't remember what you said, May 16th or something like that.
It's Sunday, May 18th. And the hub is in fact like at the corner of Pico and Normandy. And the route is through Pico Union going east to Hoover, I think. So, but yeah, we got an email late this afternoon, Teresa. So we know nothing more than what we just said, but they said, you want to have a booth? And so maybe we do. I think though, Hunter, we could do it under, well, either way, it's just discussion, but we should probably discuss it if we wanted to under item 8, but maybe this is enough of a discussion.
I mean, I agree that we should have a booth. I think that'd be cool. We can bring it up with the board and to make sure, but I'm available that day and it's a walking distance from me, so I don't mind doing it.
Okay. So
I think the last one was pretty successful. We talked about that, Laura. And I think people like to come out to it. Board members like to participate. So I think it'd be, I mean, it's May, so it's going to be hot, but I think
the location of the hub is right where Papa Christos is. So there's a big plus on this one. Yeah. So just saying, because we were scrambling to find decent food the last time. Well, good coffee, but decent food. So their request was, do you want a booth? And can we come to the board meeting and do another presentation? So I'm going to say yes. We'll talk to Paula, but say yes to the presentation and then let the board vote on whether or not we want a booth.
Sure, that sounds good to me.
Okay. Yeah, I disagree with that. I think the communications committee should, we don't have outreach, say this is what we should do. Here are the reasons why, and
Oh yeah. No, I don't mean that I am going to present for them. I'm saying yes, they can come and do a presentation. Okay. But Hunter can say yes, they can come and do a presentation.
What board meeting is that?
Well, it would have to be April 3rd, the jam-packed. We have some things on it already.
Maybe we don't need a presentation from them. Maybe we decide here, it's an agenda item. Hunter says,
That's fine.
And then we all say yes, we all raise our hands, and then we vote and keep going instead of spending 10 minutes on,
what is Ciclavia?
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I mean, we just saw a presentation from them in January, so everyone kind of knows what it is.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll write down
and included in the email was a graphic for the route.
Okay, so maybe that can go in the agenda packet,
right?
So yeah, we can kind of do like a quick 30-second presentation of our own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Moving on. Election update. So really, this is just, we have our meet and greet next Saturday. I'll be there. I'm excited for it. Is there anything else that we need to prepare for it?
No, the cards are going to be ready tomorrow, the postcards. So if people want to distribute them. I know I can give some to Candace to put along Jefferson, but we're going to have those available. Laura and I will go to Smart and Final, get some of the same,
I think we were approved for Subway sandwiches for this one. And Smart and Final, weren't we?
I don't know if I put,
I think we were because I had to upload the health certificate again. So I don't know this for sure. I mean, but Teresa's bringing food.
Yeah.
Whatever the food is. Teresa's bringing food. I'm bringing a credit card to bring to Teresa
to get the food.
when she gets the food. It's like,
great.
Okay.
Bottom line.
I can take some more cards I left probably like 20 of them at the gym or something. And the next day when I went, I didn't see them. So I don't know if people took them or what, but I can definitely leave another handful of them.
Right. Hunter, do you know if the replacement to Alibi Coffee has opened yet?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
We have 45 now. We're up to 45 people who have requested ballots. Yeah. Actually, my ballot and my husband James' ballot came in today. So the ballots are being distributed. So we're making headway on that. I know at the event, a lot of people took the applications and the envelopes. I had pre-printed some of them with the clerk's address on that. The other ones I just, I only did a few, but people took them. So, well, I don't know if we're going to get to 300 like some of the other neighborhood councils, but we're moving along. So
yeah, 45 seems good. I mean, considering what in past elections we've had 1 or 2 people vote per candidate or something, 45 seems like a good amount.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And Hunter, thank you very much, prepared a new graphic, which was from Canva for the Get Your Ballot, so that we're not always sending the same graphic over and over again. So I had received something from OPNC and Hunter revised it to our dates and our logo. So I'm going to MailChimp that tomorrow. Not about our event.
Olympic Park?
Yeah, but they have different dates. It was just the graphic. It was a Dunn supplied Canva, I guess, graphic. Is that right, Hunter? Was it in the Canva?
Yeah, it was in like the Canva toolkit that they sent us for elections. So I just had to go in and enter our dates and our little logo.
Right.
Okay.
But that way it looks like our emails are different every time. So that's a Get Your Ballot, not a meet and greet. That's still a Get Your Ballot e-blast tomorrow.
What are you going to use for the meet and greet?
Do you have the postcards you just printed are meet and greet, right?
Yes.
So if I had those, I can use that, the image from that.
Okay. They're in the do you need a PDF or you want the PNGs or what?
I would, whoever has it, send me a PNG of it, please.
Okay. I will. I think you were on that email, Laura.
I could have been. You mean where you sent it to Print Depot?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can grab that from there.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it then. I was on that email.
And the invoice, when I talked to Esteban today, it's also going to have the printing for the flyers because he did not invoice.
For which event? For this event, though?
No, it doesn't. Laura, they were printing costs, so it doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
Which one? It's printing costs.
All right.
Yeah. And it's going to be under $200. I mean, the last.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's elections.
Elections, we're good on for next Saturday. I'll make another social post for it too, because I haven't made anything for the meet and greet. So I'll do something for that tomorrow, and then I'll do something again next week to remind people.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah. And Teresa, and Hunter and Teresa. So I will send another Get Your Ballot graphic, but I'll still have the content that says, here's our dates. We have a meet and greet coming up. So, but there won't be the meet and greet e-blast, which I can do say Monday. So we need to get people out and about.
Yeah.
Hopefully
all
you
guys want to manage that. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll post it.
And I think we're going to be able to do it under the gazebo. If the weather is nice, we'll do it outside. I did have in the document that we submitted for the event, balloons, and I got them on, I saw them on Amazon, and then it came with the little pump, and I thought we could blow up some balloons to get, so people say, oh, there's something going on over there. But I didn't send that to you yet, Laura, and I know you don't have Amazon Prime, so I don't want to have.
I do have Amazon Prime.
Oh, I thought you sent me something the other day about.
I have Amazon Prime. And I've embedded our credit card into it, actually.
Then what? Oh, maybe it was the envelope. Something happened and you said, oh, because of Amazon Prime, I couldn't get.
No, I got that. I got those on Amazon Prime, but they didn't. Oh, what I think I told you is because they were so inexpensive, I had Prime, but they wouldn't do it same day Prime because you have to spend a certain amount.
Okay.
And $9.80 is not that amount.
Okay.
So I have Amazon Prime. So which is such a lovely thing.
Okay. Well, I just sent you the other Amazon order and I put the event code on it. So
perfect.
It's there. Okay.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Next, I was just brainstorming some ideas that the communications committee, aka I can make things a little easier for the governing board. I know one thing that we've brought up a couple times over the past month have been the emails, like the attendance emails that we send out. That's something that I'm happy to take over if you guys like, that's just one more thing on your plate. I also kind of think it could be a regrets only email. I know that was something that was pitched also where we say, okay, if you don't reply to this email, we're going to assume that you're coming because you're on the governing board. If you do reply to this email that you can't, great. But if you don't, we're going to count it as an unexcused absence if you don't reply with your regrets only, or if you don't tell us otherwise that you won't be able to make it that month. I just feel like everybody replying and sometimes hitting reply all to that email.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Confusion. But just we're going to assume that you're there. If you're not going to be there, let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you Thursday. I don't want to I don't know. I just trying to take things off of other people's plates,
Yeah. Paula usually sends out those emails, but
that's not true, Laura. That is not true.
And then I hit reply all. Yes. And then I hit reply all and say, I need to know who's going to be in person, how much food to buy. So there is a better way of doing that, I agree. And if Hunter wants to take it over, it's fine. The way to avoid everybody replying to everyone else is to blind copy everyone except yourself and Paula, or except yourself and me, so that we need to know the food and we need to know if we're going to cancel. So however you want it, yeah. But then if somebody replies all, they're only hitting the people who need to know and not everybody else.
And if they're replying all at that point, they're letting us know that they can't make it. Not, yes,
Well, I still, I don't know that it makes a huge difference anymore. I'm trying to figure out how to right size the amount of food to bring. But it turns out, turns out that the healthier it is, the more that's left over, which is weird. And, so.
I don't think we've ever had not enough food. I don't
No, I'm buying too much sometimes.
Well, it's always under $200. So I feel if we have some leftover and people want to take the leftovers, it's fine. I do think it's a great idea to kind of streamline that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe emails coming out from someone from the communications could be more receptive. I've always said the assumption is people are coming. You're on the governing board. Why do we have to remind you this? And, especially now we're going to have new board members. Maybe people will be a little more enthusiastic or a little more committed. And, so
I think it's fine. In fact, I think it's good because maybe getting emails from others might trigger. But I think, we just talked about the content. And again, this is a going forward thing. We only have a couple meetings left for this season, and then we have another season of board members. So technically only the president or vice president, whoever they're going to be, can excuse the absence, I suppose. So the email just needs to remind people if you're not sure if you have an excused absence, contact Paula or whatever.
Like you said, I could
Well, we
see everybody, but then
Yeah.
just CC you and Paula so that way, like they see
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm just saying, just a reminder that you, Hunter, can't give them an excuse either.
Yeah.
Right.
And
But we don't excuse very many absences, and I think the problem is there's a couple of people who are problematic, and one of the problematic people, I think, we can have a discussion, and then another didn't run for the board again. I mean, her Diana,
right.
her
So I guess
term is up.
if I could just chime in here, let's try something new. I mean,
Sure.
we've been doing this. I've been on the board for years. Problems with quorum, blah 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 blah. Let's try something new. Maybe that's coming out saying, "Hey, reminding you that there's a meeting. If you're not going to make it, I have no problem with somebody responding to the email saying, I'm not going to make it. I mean, if you or your vice president, president, whoever those people are, see the email, then that's fine. I don't think, it should be private so Hunter can't see that someo's asking for.
No, it shouldn't be private. It's just, it shouldn't be only Hunter.
Okay.
I agree with both of these things. I think that, if it's just sort of to lessen the amount of emails that everybody needs to send, and it's also a way to be strict and say, look, like, if you're not going to be here, send us an email. I'll forward it to you. I'll forward it to the president. But if you don't show up 3 times and you don't reply to these emails, that's 3 unexcused absences. And that's
absolutely. And the other thing is, maybe you can do it more timely, because the other problem is that the email reminders are going out after the agenda's already gone out, if I'm saying that right. And, maybe the email can go out the week before, not a day or 2 before the meeting.
Sure, yeah, I can send it the Thursday before so everybody has a week to get it. And then the agenda usually comes out, Saturday?
Monday. It comes out Monday. But the thing is, if we actually suddenly get for a particular meeting, a whole bunch of people say, I can't go, then we're not going to call the meeting.
Yeah. But Laura, when was the last time we've had to cancel a meeting because we did not have quorum?
October.
No, we didn't cancel that meeting.
Yeah, we did. We didn't have quorum in October.
And know what? We did not have quorum in person or online. And
we didn't have combined. We didn't have quorum. We canceled and then redid the meeting on Zoom a week later.
Okay, I don't remember. Just to be quite honest, that was.
Were you back? Was that the one time you were back east? Was that part of?
Yeah,
that might be part of it. Yeah, that might have been part of it. You had an excused absence. We didn't have quorum.
All right. Well,
I don't mean that it's a repetitive. It's not like other neighborhood councils where it's a repetitive experience, but okay. I think we've killed this horse.
Yeah.
Well, it's Hunter's meeting, Laura. But go ahead, Hunter.
Say, I mean, this would, it wouldn't, I don't think, encourage people to come more than they already would, but at least we would get an accurate head count of, okay, 3 people didn't respond to, or 3 people did respond to this email. We can expect 3 people to be out instead of, okay, 15 people responded to this email, but who didn't see it, Is he stopped? But I don't know. I can bring this up to the board too on our next meeting and say, like, this is kind of like what we're planning on doing. See what people.
Hunter, I don't think you need a board approval. I think you just need to tell Paula what you're planning, and she'll be happy to get something off of her.
You could do that. You could do that, Hunter, or maybe you can explain it to the board too. When you do your communications committee update, you explain the new process, and this is what's going to happen, and this is the expectation.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of in the similar vein, and this is something that I think is, less pressing, but I'm also happy to help with like setting up Zoom and setting up the YouTube. I didn't have great timing with YouTube today, but for the governing board meetings, I know you guys are usually like running around doing like 3 different things. This is just kind of me, like, I'm here to help. I can show up like 10-15 minutes earlier than I usually do to get that all going if you guys need.
That sounds great to me. I'm not setting that up any longer.
Yeah.
I tell you what would really be helpful to me, Hunter, is and I had a quick chat or email with Laura the other day about using the enterprise account and getting all the new logins and working out the details behind that. So how for instance, we're going to stream to YouTube if it's just a Zoom meeting, and making sure that people have authorization to do that, and also how to circumvent needing this dual verification and which emails. And I'm thinking it should be the president, the secretary, maybe communications. So there are other people who have access to those accounts,
Exactly.
just the president's email, because it's very limiting when you're relying on one person to give you a code.
I don't know if Zoom has the capacity. I'm sure it does, but we could try to also hook it up to like a two-factor authentication app. I don't know if you guys are, too familiar, but it just, instead of texting you a 6-digit code, you would go onto like the Google authentication app and it would say Zoom UNNC, and that it would give you a 6-second code that would refresh every 30 seconds or something like that. So in that case, like everybody who is a committee chair would be able to, theoretically get that app, hook up to the Zoom, and be able to see their own unique code. So that way they would be able to log on without having to email anybody. But that's if the committee chairs are able to figure out how to do that,
Well, maybe it could be a training or something that you can do. I mean, Laura has a flip phone, so I don't know if she'd be able to put an app on that phone.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's something that we can think about. You and I can kind of figure out the mechanics of that. But regarding communications, you in particular setting up the meeting beforehand, I think it's a great idea. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, the problem last meeting was that the physical technology arrived really late into our room. So we also need to really because I know, Teresa, you handed off this function to Candace and Marco, but I don't feel like they're contacting the room every month. The room has not been unlocked by 6:15. The lights are not on. I told Hunter I was sitting in my car with the hot food in the rain. Well, I mean, we weren't in the rain because I was in the car waiting for somebody. I mean, I don't even have the cell phone number for the
Rochelle.
Yeah.
So
and I don't want to. I don't want to be the person who's doing that.
I got it. Is the contract up to date, Laura?
No, of course it is not. The city has totally.
Okay.
It's a whole other conversation.
I don't know if Rochelle knows that she's supposed to have the room available starting at 6:15. Just to be quite honest.
I'm saying I don't even know if that's what we would have asked for in the past, but it's very clear to me at this point that 6:15 is the right time to have the room available, because we have to set it up, all the tables and everything ourselves each time. So,
I mean, that could just be an email. Then I can email Letty and let her know we'd like to have access to the rooms at 6:15. She's going to say, just, ask Rochelle to buzz you in. So that's not, I don't think it's going to be a problem. But for the next few months, I can certainly get there early and ask her to buzz me in and turn the lights on. Or if who has the owl? That group needs to be there early.
Yes, that's exactly right. Because the way we're doing it right now, and I'm okay with it for the time being, is I'm picking up the food. So I cannot be the person who's also the first person there to set up the room, because I might be delayed.
And it's not fair either.
Yeah.
So Hunter, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that whoever has the owl obviously should be there early. I'm able to be there earlier. I could probably be there for 6:15. I couldn't be there for like 6 on the dot. But if you want me to just take the
I'm
owl.
like 6:30. My feeling is that if the room were available at 6:30 and Hunter, Teresa, Candace, and or Marco is there at 6:30, boom, we can get the owl, we can get all of the tables moved around, and we can kind of set things up.
Right.
We could try taking turns too. That could be confusing though. Like you said, the person with the owl has to be there first. Like that's right.
And the computer. And so, we've had this month, computer was picked up from the South Seas house timely, just not brought over to the room. Month before, South Seas house had to stay open late for waiting for us to pick up our computer.
Oh, who brought the computer last time?
In March or in February?
Well,
March it was March it was Candace. February it was Marco. And yeah, and he didn't realize that they close at 6. Okay. So I'm on the phone with Astrid saying, please stay. And it turned out to be okay because a parent was also late to pick up a child. But it's like, really, we need to be picking up the computer, not at the very last second.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's an idea. The meeting, the planning and zoning meeting is that Wednesday before the governing board. So it would be, you could pack up the computer and bring it.
Wouldn't that be nice if I didn't have a car that had no back window? Oh. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's just, I'm not comfortable bringing that computer overnight.
I previously, I was picking the computer up. I had the meeting downtown, and when I leave there at about 4 o'clock, I swing by and I pick it up and then and make sure it's updated and charged and everything. So maybe, because I do attend planning and zoning, maybe I can just bring it home on Wednesday night. And that planning and zoning meeting is pretty consistent.
But that's still only a couple more months. And then, yeah. Well, I mean, not the planning and zoning, but you attending governing board, it's only a couple more months. So we need to, I think,
Laura, let's just wait and see. Maybe an outreach person wants to take. Let's see the new people.
Okay.
They may want, maybe we can have a technology committee.
Correct. That'd be ideal.
Part of, communications or something, and then they can kind of take over some of these things. So for the next few months, I will do it because it's convenient to do after the planning and zoning meeting or after I get done with the CFAC meeting from downtown. I can just swing by and pick it up before that.
Right. Well, we know we're having planning and zoning on April 2nd because we know from last night. But otherwise, if we also know we're not having planning and zoning, then the last meeting will be yours, the tree committee.
Okay.
In any given month. So.
Okay. So we're good for the next, few months.
Couple of months.
Yeah.
And we can kind of take things from there as we.
And who has the owl? Is it Candace? I guess that's where the owl lives.
Marco, probably.
No, because he didn't come to the last meeting.
Wasn't there last month. It was Candace. Yeah, I think Candace has it.
Yeah. So what would be great is if our communications chair did a check-in a week ahead as to where things are.
Okay. I'm going to say.
Not where the computer is, but where the owl is.
I'm going to just put some brakes on here. I don't think it's appropriate for us to be giving the chair responsibilities. If that's something that they feel they want to take on, that's fine. I don't, No,
but he did say he wanted to.
I mean, my thing is, I feel like we should not be unaware of where it is at any point. You know what I mean? I think that we need to get into a groove where either the same person is taking it month after month or the same 2 to 3 people tops are taking it.
Right. But your idea was that communications takes a larger role. So that's what I'm saying.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I'm happy to send a monthly, if you're not going to show up to the governing board meeting, let us know, email regrets only. If you want me to also send another email, who has the owl?
Well, it would be at the moment.
Hold on a second. Hunter, you're making the decisions on what you want to do and the responsibilities you want and how you want.
Sure, I'm okay doing that if we think it's necessary, but I hope we don't get to a place where it's necessary where we just don't know where the owl is. You know what I mean? Can
we explore also storing the owl we put in this we bought the case and it's like heavy duty we have special locks and everything. Remember when we bought all that stuff? Yeah. Is there no way we can keep the owl in our storage area at Gramercy? That way we know where it is.
And it's just the computer that we would need to bring.
And just the computer.
I guess we want to ask Letty, have they had any break-ins or not? That's the only, we don't want to lose it. I mean.
Well,
that'd be
we
the
don't
only
want it
question.
stolen.
Sure.
We're
Yeah,
not losing it. But let me just say, even while we're there, that door is closed. I mean,
Yes,
they take our things out, they close the door, and we
and
can't,
lock it.
and it locks automatically. They don't even
Right.
lock it. It locks automatically. So we have to let her know when we're leaving so she can unlock it so we can put our things back in. So, I mean, that might be a
So
solution.
It,
Maybe we could
it
talk
would be
to
a
the-
great solution if we don't need it at any other location.
I don't think we've
We
ever
don't.
used it.
Laura, what other location do we use?
No,
to
no,
unlock?
I'm saying if we don't need it at any other location, it's a great solution.
I think, yeah, I think that does make the most sense. It's less to lug around, and if it's just a computer, that's easy, and that's easy to hide too.
And not just that, if by chance something happens to the computer at South Sea's house, anybody's computer, just like you can bring, if we're in an emergency situation, South Sea's house burns
Hello?
down, anybody's computer can log in and.
In a Zoom meeting. Can I call you back?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk to Letty and Rochelle about storing that there.
Right. And then back to your question on the contract, Letty did email Paula and me a kind of master contract, and I don't know if Paula signed it or not, so I will follow up. But it's still their contract, not the city contract. The city attorney has just
Okay,
not,
but do they have a time on their contract that they will have the room available to us?
I didn't look, but that might be something we fill out.
Okay.
Okay. All right. But the city hasn't, in answer to your question, we're still, what is this, 2.5 years in and nothing. Okay.
Moving on. Okay, so I simplified and made a new password doc for 2025 just to kind of keep things going. The last one I think was updated in 2022 or something. There's 2 passwords that I think are important that are missing from the doc or are wrong at the doc. The first one was in Nextdoor, which I reached out to Norman about. That's who you said to reach out to, right?
No, I said to reach out to Lizzie Muramasato for the Nextdoor.
Okay, I'll reach out to Lizzie for that. And then the second one was just the WordPress for the back end of our website, which I think I can probably get from Ann and Doug.
They would have that.
Okay, cool. So those are really the 2 things. Everything else looked good. Oh, yep, Teresa.
Yeah, I have a question. That email that we were on with Ann, and there were several emails there. The one is Google at UNNC. I sent an email to that. Yes, Laura, yes.
No, I'm saying
an email, and Ann is it bounces to Ann, but she doesn't know who the original email recipient of that is. So that might be another one too.
Google at UNNC?
Yeah, remember she sent us an email the other day. Let's see.
Oh, did she?
This was let's see. It's Google at UNNC.org. And on the email, she says in the email that she doesn't know who it is. But anyway, I sent a test and I asked for the recipient to please respond. And Anne said, I also received Google at UNNC, but it's auto forward to her. So yeah. I don't know.
Oh, well, anything that would auto forward probably was set up by Norman. So Hunter, that's on your list for Norman. But do we need to have that email?
Google, I see. Okay, so it says Google Tools, webmaster at google.com, analytics. So, okay, I see. So it seems like that email is just for our Google Analytics and our Postmaster and Webmaster. I haven't used any of those. I don't know.
Okay, hang on a second. If it's Google Analytics, let me check something. That might be goes to president, but I don't check that very often, contrary to popular belief.
Yeah, it was truthfully sort of like a feat to kind of like go through all of these and try all the email and passwords. The next feat is sort of looking at all of these separate emails. I don't know like the Google at UNNC.org where that goes to or who has that. There's also And maybe I'm sure maybe you use this one, but like planning@gmail.com or UNNCplanning@gmail.com. Do you use
No, planning at UNNC.org
so
is used.
this one is UNNCplanning@gmail.com. So it's just like I feel like we
Oh
have
yeah,
a lot of these
no, I don't use that.
emails that we just don't. UNNC@empowerla.org. Maybe we need that, but I do feel like we have a lot.
Oh, that one, that may or may not be dead. That was the one that when you would use that, it would go to all board members and it went through Empower. But if they've changed their system, they were hacked, I think. That's a check with all fun. But
Okay.
but
I mean,
what that was if you use that email, it would go to all board members. And at Empower, they would set it up, and that's why they get the roster from us. That in part, that's how they do group emails to an individual board. But they may have changed the group email. Okay, Teresa, I see an email from you. So that's your answer. Goes to President.
Okay.
And to Anne.
Okay.
Sorry, but because I don't look at this email. But a lot of them go to President and also to Anne.
Okay. So Hunter, that was in response to Anne, that email that she sent to us on March the 16th, where she said each phone number is connected to a Google account. So if there's this google@unnc.org, maybe that's the one for the next agenda item that can be connected to that. I don't know.
Okay, so yeah. Well, now that you're saying all this, because I wasn't on the email that you were talking about, there's an email from Google Search Console team. It's from them, and it's addressed to google@unnc.org. And every time I get those emails, I see them, I forward them to Anne. But you're saying Anne already gets them?
There's an auto forward to Anne.
Got it.
Hunter, we had talked before about you also checking the president's email?
I do seldom, not often.
Because I feel like it obviously is not for the president because many people use it, and things are going into spam. And this lady the other day said she sent something to the president at UNNC and it wasn't acknowledged. So I don't know if that's just like a catch-all and there are things going into spam. If you have any suggestions on.
I can, if it's an issue, I can definitely check it more often. I honestly didn't see a lot in it the times that I mostly spam, so I kind of just started doing it less and less. But if people are reaching out, then I'm happy to do that.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know how.
I just don't. I feel like that's kind of stepping on toes going into the president's email account.
But it's not really any more president. I mean, it a lot of stuff is forwarded to it.
Yeah.
And I have a sense that when Sarah was secretary, she was just checking it very regularly. I check it fairly regularly, but I skip, in other words, this particular thing, I just skip over, or I send it to Anne and then she'll say, I already have it. So on the Google.
But it could be when you guys have the next election, there may be a president who's much more
exactly
concerned with that account and maintaining it. And
right.
But
But it's become a catch-all, and it's not just communications to. Well, I mean, there's a lot of emails in there. Dear Stevie, dear Norman, dear Jeff, dear Denise. I mean, to all the prior people who had access, and they weren't all presidents. The invoices go there. Invoices at unnc.org forward to that email. So it is a catch-all. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
So and so has entered your Zoom meeting goes there. I mean,
well, that is for the enterprise because I get the other ones.
Correct.
So,
yeah. So
and those things are deleted, right? I know you like to hold on to hundreds of thousands of emails, Laura, but
I haven't been doing any management. I've just been looking, but it's not like there's not thousands of emails, unlike my own personal email. There,
okay.
and a lot of what's in the spam, which is why I tend to not look at the spam, is all the Metro emails go to spam. And it's like, well, I've got all the Metro emails. You have
Well,
probably all
maybe
the
we should unsubscribe from that
yeah.
if you're
So
already getting it. Okay.
I feel like there's a lot that we go.
Okay, so maybe that is not something that's important.
Well, I think that, figuring out our email situation is definitely important, especially if people are trying to like reach out to us. I'll definitely check in on this email maybe at least once a week. And if I'm seeing more people are emailing, then I'll do it more often. But I think, yeah, kind of just unsubscribing and cleaning it up is going to be a big task.
yeah, right. And I always would say that also MailChimp emails to that email. When they have something to tell us.
Yeah, like marketing emails and stuff.
Well,
like,
marketing stuff, but also someone subscribed, someone unsubscribed. So that is actually something you should be looking for because that's a communications thing.
Yeah. Okay, I can do that. Kind of in a similar vein as Ring Central. So at the end of last year, like 2024, probably like October or something, I tried to set up a call with them and schedule time, and they did not show up. And then I tried to do it again last week, and we scheduled a time, and again, they did not show up to talk. So I actually didn't get to talk to anybody from Ring Central. What confuses me is that when I go onto the site, it says that our last voicemail is from 2013. But then when I go to the president email, it shows that there are people contacting it. I set up the Ring Central so that it forwards to my phone number, and it never has rung. So I don't know why we're getting like emails, but we're not getting like nothing is going to the website. And I'm wondering, do people actually are we using it?
Well, yeah, I just never know do you want me to be forwarding? Because we have something for March 17th. So if you want me to be
who gets that? Who gets that?
The president email.
I'm supposed to get it, but are people calling and just leaving voicemail emails instead of voicemail phone calls? Because
they are recordings. So for me to listen to them, I actually have to forward it to me and then wait till I get to my computer because my tablet doesn't have the program to listen. And I also don't want to listen to them.
Are they?
So if you want to listen to them, I will forward them to you.
Well, no.
Can I just ask a question? So
there are not that many of them.
They come in and someone leaves a voicemail, then it's transcribed and you look at it as an email on your computer.
No, sometimes it's transcribed.
And how do you get it?
And if they text Ring Central, you can read it. But more often, it's an attachment that's a oral thing, and it's like a voicemail, but it's a attached recording. No, it's not like a voicemail. It's an attached recording. I don't know how the system works. So But
when I go into Ring Central and I sign into our account, it says that the forward number is my phone number. Why aren't I getting any of these calls?
That's a good point. But so what I'm going to do right now is send the most recent one to you. I don't know what it says, who it's from. I know who it's from because I don't know the person, but it has a phone number from whom it's from. So I just sent it to you, but I don't know, I never know if it's important or not important.
Basically. So you're the only person right now who has
No, not me, Laura. The president's email is the only entity. Okay. But yeah.
Find it because I went to the president's email and saw that we did have some, but
not a lot.
So who responds to those?
Nobody, apparently. I kind of am like, let me go through some of these. If it's really nothing important, is this something that we're willing to get rid of? Because I also chatted with Anne a little bit, and she suggested we do like a Google voicemail essentially, which would be free. It would have limited storage, but we don't get that many calls where I think it would be an issue anyway. And this
Can we keep the same phone number?
probably.
I mean, in the world of individuals, phone numbers are portable. So before we decide, we'd have to ask who, if we're allowed to change our phone number. And that's fine. Probably the answer is yes.
Wait, I'm sorry. We would have to ask like Dunn.
I think Dunn, not the clerk. But
Okay.
we'd have to start with Dunn and just make sure it's okay to change the phone number.
Okay. I also have looked at other neighborhood council websites, and many of them don't have a phone number contact at all.
Yeah, but Dunn has a phone number for us on their website, and for every neighborhood council has a phone number on their. So again, I didn't set up any of this, so I have no idea what's mandatory and what is not mandatory, and can we change numbers? And how do we contact people? I mean, we do get a monthly report in Ring Central that's a voicemail. So somehow it's a translated to, and
So most
from
of these are probably just the monthly report saying you have 0 calls.
No. We get a monthly report from the charter school on Adams Boulevard. And it's somehow I can read it. That basically said we had no complaints and no incidents this month. There might be a report that says we did have a complaint. They're required to report to us. So that one we'd have to tell them we have a new phone number. But okay. Who else would we have to tell we have a new phone number? I don't know the answer.
Well, so I just went to I went into Empower LA and to the Dunn site, and I went to Atwater Village, and there is not a phone number here.
Okay, so then all we have to do is ask Dunn if we can change our phone number. I mean, it's that simple.
We could just ask Alfonso for at the meeting. I would suggest I'm going to look through some of these voicemails, and if there's not really anything important, I think that I'm going to suggest we kind of axe this just because we're hitting the new fiscal year and we're going to have to pay for this shortly.
Well, we have to pay for it is it August or is it April?
It resets up in August.
Okay. So we already paid for it this year, but for our budget. August. Yeah. Okay.
August, yes.
There's a lot of stuff that renews in April. That's why I was asking.
But we would have to vote on it in May if we're going to renew it in August. Is that?
Well, we do the budget. We do the budget first in June, and then we do it again in July for the admin packet.
Right.
So I would suggest we just probably don't include it in next year's budget, and we'll keep it until August, if that works.
But you're saying change the phone number or have no phone number?
I would say if we can get it for free through Google Voice or whatever it is, then yeah, we should have I think it wouldn't hurt to have a phone number, especially if we get reports for schools and stuff through it.
Right.
Just, 400 plus a year is expensive for a phone number that nobody's using.
Right.
Okay.
And as long as those reports come in and they're deleted, then we won't exceed the limited cloud storage.
Don't take up a lot of storage. I'm not sure how much storage it'll give us, but even if it's like 2 gigabytes, it'll probably hold like 50 to 100 messages, which will last us seemingly the year at least. But I'll be responsible for going in and deleting them if not.
Okay, so I would suggest instead of asking Alfonso on the fly to answer at the board meeting, if you would please email him and let him.
Yeah, and also I'll say, Hunter, you can ask, but I would just state it that this is what we're planning to do this. Is there a problem with that? Instead of saying,
can we have a new phone number? Say, hey, since you guys are charging us for Canva now, we're trying to reduce costs in other ways.
Well, by the way, we might have to reduce costs in many other ways because the $1 billion deficit isn't going to look pretty for anybody's budget, including probably our own.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if we do successfully get rid of this and one of our Zoom accounts, that's about $600 a year that we're saving. And I know that there's been concerns with people on the board that we're spending too much money. So hopefully this appeases them a little bit,
Yeah. Well, what would be really a nice savings is if the council office could figure out a way to give us back our storage that we had at the building on Western at Manhattan Place.
That would be nice.
But we have less, I don't know if we'd have less access, but it'd be nice to have storage again for free.
Yeah.
And that would save us a big chunk of money. Okay.
Cool. Okay, that sounds great. I'm gonna bring up that. I'm gonna bring up the email, attendance email, and we'll bring up the Zoom and the next meeting for my communication stuff. So that way we have 3 actionable items that we can bring to the board. Last thing is probably honestly the most important. We're having issues sending emails from SiteGround to external accounts. And I looked into it,
And
and
what does that mean?
so like any at UNNC email address that we make cannot be sent to anyone that's not in our organization. That's not just to UNNC. So I can't even send myself an email. Hunter.reese@unnc.org or whatever cannot send my personal address an email. It bounces
So
back.
let me just say, until you came, we did not send out any emails from that address. They were all forwarded. So no one has, like Teresa does not send out teresa.mason@unnc.org to Hunter. And you know what I mean? None of us have been able to do that. So it could be when we set that account up that that was never going to be the option. It was only to allow those emails that come in to be forwarded to someone's personal email.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get that. I know most of the addresses were set up as forwarders. I just, there were some things like emailing for like Taste of Soul, or emailing for like some people have reached out about neighborhood purpose grants, like things like that I'm like, oh, maybe I should reply my UNNC email address. Maybe this is just a personal problem, but I know Eber was also having issues where he was not able to send emails out either.
Well, I will just tell you, one
Yeah.
time when I first came on, I wanted to send an email from the neighborhood council email to the city forest officer, and Raheem had to give me a special code or do some kind of something to give me access to actually send that email. So
That's probably it, because I looked into it a bit, and it has something to do with like our servers and like the C, like things that I just truly don't understand, like the coding behind how these email addresses were made. So it's kind of out of my scope, like out of my knowledge of something that I know how to fix, honestly. If it's not an issue for anyone else, that's fine. I can kind of just like play with it and see what we can do. But I feel like people should have access to be able to send emails from their accounts. That just seems to make sense to me.
I think probably the reason we also have the set of Gmail addresses, mostly officers, but signatory at, .unnc@gmail, and nobody uses any of these. But I think maybe the reason that list of emails was set up was to get around this problem.
Probably. That makes sense to me.
And that go around, you could add communications.unnc@gmail and make it your go around. But again, I believe Norman Gilmore set this all up, and he's a tech whiz. So we should put you in contact with him, and Anne in contact with him, because she was asking questions about SiteGround as well. And it's sometimes a little difficult even just to pay the bill for SiteGround. And I mean, I had to have Norman get in so we could pay a bill 2 years ago. And that doesn't seem like a good idea either, since he hasn't been on the board for a very long time, but he's a trustworthy source. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And he's a contractor for the city. So I mean, in other words, he's okay. He's okay as an individual to be helping us, but SiteGround's an oddball thing, because when you have trouble paying your own bills, it's a problem.
Right.
Because you can't get in. But Anne now knows how to get in, so she may be able to help you through this. But I think maybe that's why we have those sort of officer emails in Gmail as well.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, I've been wondering the purpose of them, but if it's just so that you can send emails, I get that.
That might have been it. That might have been it. I mean, but again, let me just put you in contact with Norman, and
okay, cool. That's about it. Is there anything else? New business, old business announcements? Nice. I think that this is a very administrative, agenda packet, but We've done months and months of election stuff, so this stuff's kind of just like fallen off the wayside since then.
Okay.
So I'm going to start working on the Zoom, all of the new Zoom links for all the different committees, but we have to have a more in-depth conversation on how all of that's going to work. We have to have that dual verification. We need to have a.
Well, the dual verification, let me just tell the dual verification for that account is, can you guess?
Right.
The Gmail. No, it's not a phone. It's the Gmail. The president.unnc@gmail. There's no phone number associated with that, but it's still that email. I mean, there's still the issue. So as long as it's on the UNNC computer, and that's the only Zoom anybody's accessing, there probably isn't going to be a whole lot of verification. I mean, we didn't need it the other night, for example. It just let us log in.
Yeah, but tonight, Hunter,
from home, right?
Right. If someone, they're not going to have the UNNC
yeah,
computer.
I think since the city set that up, not any human of us, I think that will remain.
Well, I don't know. I think we should talk about having it maybe at Google at UNNC or some other.
Yeah, but the city set up the account with that specific email.
I hear you. I hear you, Laura. Please stop putting up roadblocks. I'm trying to solve a problem here. We need not to be able to be dependent on whoever has access to the president's account, which could be you, Paula, and Hunter. If neither of you guys are available, then that means someone cannot have their meeting. So if it's that anybody can access just to get the code, then they'll be able to have their meeting if it's a Zoom only meeting, or if there's been an update and on the new computer, on the UNNC computer. So it's just something I want to think about, so we're not beholden to a particular person.
Right. But I'm just telling you, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure this is a fix that can be done because of the way it was all set up. We just
reach out to Don and we tell them, hey, this is the new email for the dual verification. Change it from president to whatever it is. The same way if we were to maintain this account that we're on right now, and I'm no longer going to be the person providing the code, I will just go into the account and say, here's the new email to require.
Okay, I'm hearing what you're saying, and we don't need to take up much more time. It's very clear that newer Gmail accounts require the Gmail itself requires the two-factor with a phone. Luckily, we don't have that issue with our president. UNNC
the Zoom today does not come to my phone. It comes to an email.
Okay.
I feel
I'm not talking about
a little bit more about the Zoom than you do. I'm not sure about the enterprise account, but remember, I'm the one who set this entire thing up. So I got it.
No, I understand. I'm not talking about Zoom. I'm talking about Gmail itself, noting that every time we need to log into the West Hams Heritage at Gmail, that is at a phone. We don't have that issue with our president's account at Gmail for whatever reason. That's what I'm trying to say. Like Hunter can get in, I can get in, Paula can get in, Sarah probably still can get in, and there's no phone call happening. Am I correct, Hunter? You can get in without a phone call, two-factor?
Yeah, email, text, or you can probably do a couple other ways, like the authenticator app.
So I think the solution is to make this, is for the people who need to log in via Zoom as committee chairs to be able to get to the president, the quote president, that's not president email. But tonight,
another account that everybody can have access to, so people don't have to do that. I'll figure it out, and when I do, I'll come back and share some of the options.
Yeah, I'm happy to brainstorm this a little bit too.
Okay.
It is going to be a pain, but I think it'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah. It's just going to take a little bit, but I'm pretty good at going through all of the possibilities of the little kinks that may come up. So we'll work through all of that beforehand, many, many months beforehand, to make sure that it all works.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, I have to go for one. Are we done? Because I wanted to.
We can adjourn. I think that we have made progress. We have things that we can work on.
Okay. Thank you.
Great meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hunter.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Oh, you're supposed to turn off the